Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the middle of the Atlantic, pissing and shitting over each other to get here. That ain't how it happened. So hopefully you're here with us to think. If you don't have nothing intelligent to say, please, just sit back and listen. And, when it's your turn, help us. The indigenous Americans are in need of intelligent people, not confused people who think they're from somewhere else. So, what we try to do is bring you guests to push that thought forward. And tonight, we welcome back an old friend. Now, you remember it's Deborah, Oklahoma, but she's going to share with you some stories that got her to change her the way she sees the world. And a lot of us go through that. So she's going to share what she's learned with you right now. What's going on, Mimi?
Everything. The same love, even more. How you guys been? I miss y'all.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
We want to know. We know where you've been. So I'm gonna sit down and shut up.
Okay, well, one thing I can say is that I definitely want to thank your sister for being there when I had a time of trouble. And she sent me some stuff, but I'll let everybody know. You know me as Deborah Ishki, Oklahoma, but no longer have a name. I have a title, and that title is Mimi Olom Kayama Kabal, the great grandmother of the Aborigine bloodline and singer to the terrestrials. Um, that is my ascension title at this point. Um, Actually, I have gone back into my Mayan inheritance. A lot has happened to me since you've seen me last. I now know that we are the way, the original people of this continent, really, we're the original people on the planet, period. The Americas itself takes up what, damn near 2/3 of the planet, and we just everywhere. And we really don't know how much this planet depends on us and the animals depend on us. So we have to come forward. But anyway, what I want to talk to you about is what happened to me and why that's important to where I'm going to get to. The point that I told him is that the so-called pimp is pulling out. But sometimes you don't know when the pimp is pulling out. Usually when the pimp pulls out, it's because he's had his orgasm. But we didn't get ours. So he's pulling out. So basically what happened to me in October, somewhere around, I moved to Georgia. I had been to Georgia for almost a little over 6 months. I had a friend there that I kept saying to her, we have to be careful because I've been followed. I was being followed by various entities. I had gotten sprayed and almost passed out. Some other things had happened, and my children had said to me, "Mom, I told you to get out of this because this is not the first time it happened." Well, I have always been the type of person to keep my body up. So my immune system was good. My immune system was very good. I could be around people with COVID and help them heal and never get it. But in my apartment, they put in a fresh air machine, something I didn't even know they had put in since I moved in there. Um, this so-called fresh air machine began to blow air on me. I didn't know where it was coming from. And I went to the management. I said, I keep feeling this air and I don't know where it's coming from. And I started to cough and wheeze and just a bunch of things until one day, peace, Shatahaya, until one day, um, my throat started to swell up. And I called my son. I said, there's something really bad happening to me here in this apartment. Just all the different smells. And now remember, oh, well, you don't know this, but this building that I moved in had just opened. It was brand new. So There shouldn't have been any problems with it. Turns out that there was a chemical coming in into this air, an air machine. I still have some traumas from it, so bear with me as I kind of struggle with some words. But I told my son, I called him, I said, I can barely talk. My throat was closing. My hair and scalp had turned fire red. And he came and he said to me, Mom, what is all this shit on your floor? Turns out it was blowing in a chemical that just was permeating me in my bed. Um, but I had already started operating as an Aborigine. So when I went to the hospital, I went in as an Aborigine and I told them that, I don't I don't sign documents. I don't do a lot of stuff. I come out of the United States. And the moment I said I was Aborigine, they took me right in. They just was like, okay, this way, right? And they treated me like a queen. Um, but they asked me if I wanted to stay. And my son and I decided that it would be best for me to come to Detroit where he is. Well, this poison was permeating me so bad that I was in a tremendous pain and it felt that it was actually penetrating through my head. And they couldn't find anything to stop it until my daughter actually looked up something and said, hey, let's just put some vinegar and water over. Both my children put me in the tub naked and just poured vinegar and water over me. And that's the only thing that stopped the poison from penetrating. The problem is, though, is that I became very broken in my immune system, and I couldn't get myself together. And before uh, 2 weeks was out, my children were dragging me around the house and pretty much changing my diapers until I finally said I'm going to the hospital. Well, ended up that I had COVID. I was in the hospital for quite a while. Um, I had I had didn't have basically I couldn't walk. I couldn't do a lot of things. This went on from October, and I'm still in outpatient rehab. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to use my arms again. It was pretty devastating for me. I had so that's why you guys didn't see me. um but when I first started feeling ill, Carrie's sister Lisa, she sent me some stuff that helped. And I have a friend who had a doctor in another state who called me and said, look, you're 70 years old. Most people your age don't get through this. And he actually talked to me about things that I took. This shit never went into my lungs ever. I never had a breathing problem, only a neural problem. So I was grateful for that also. Why is this important? I want to talk to you about why this is important. Because while I was laying on my children's couch, this was hitting me so bad. I really felt in myself that I didn't want to go on anymore. And I started telling my children, this is too much for me. I don't know. I've never ever felt this way before. Of course, my children didn't want to hear it. And I probably shouldn't have said it, but that's how I felt. And as I would try to sleep, one night I was talking to my mother and I kept saying to her, my mother has been passed since I was 11. And I was talking to my mother and I said to her, help me, please help me. And I heard myself saying, please help me. But she said no. And I wasn't expecting that. She said, no, I'm not. Well, she didn't say I'm not. She just said no. She just kept saying no. And I just kept saying, help me. But when I woke up, I still heard myself saying, Mommy, help me. But my children were standing at the foot of where I was sleeping. And I asked them what was going on. And they said, you, Okema asked me to come in here, because you were speaking to someone, you're talking to someone. And I said, yeah, but here's the thing. My lips weren't moving. I heard it, they heard it, but my lips weren't moving. So that was the first encounter with the ancestor. As time went on, I started to get more and more discouraged that I would get well. And my next one of my most important encounters was with the ancestors. But these ancestors had never come here. Hey, Shibi Lolo, I'm so much better these days. How are you? It's good to see you. Um, I had an encounter with ancestors who have never been to this planet. And I knew that when I spoke with them, and they knew what I was thinking. And they said to me, you can't come here. You can't come here. And I was in my mind thinking, I'm so tired though. I'm really, really just tired. And they said, no, you have to go back because you have not finished your work. So, of course, I'm glad I didn't stay there. I'm glad I'm back. But that was part of the encounter. But that was not the only time. And they kept talking to me and they kept speaking to me. And they said, before you go back to work, you're going to have to raise your integrity. Now, for me, I'm thinking, wow, I have integrity. I'm for the people. Everything I do is for the people. I don't even think about ever giving anything to myself. So to me, I'm trying to figure out where am I lacking in integrity. But as time went on, they began to speak to me and give me downloads. And I know this sounds really weird. I know it does, but it really means something because we're being watched. I'm so glad. You know what, Lisa? Thank you. I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them about the text you sent me too, because that was so inspiring. It was so inspiring. Um, After all I had gone through, but um, I kept trying to figure out where am I lacking integrity. But as time went on, they began to speak to me about moment to moment decisions and why this is important as the moment to moment decisions on what we make in our lives are going to matter because they kept saying to me, you're in ascension. The planet is in ascension. Everyone is in ascension. Your DNA is changing because of what's going on in the universe. You have to rise to the level of where the universe where the planet is going. The planet in the universe is doing it without or with us. It's up to us. So I became even more interested to find out where I was going wrong. Because let me be frank with you, I don't want to be left the fuck here or have to come back the fuck here. Not if it's going to be like this, I don't. So I was inspired to find out where I was lacking integrity. Well, I was taking classes at so this guy, I won't mention his name, but beware of fucking Moors. I'll tell you that right now. um, and I was just allowing myself to lose my integrity with all that was being said, and because I wanted to learn the information, I would just let shit go and never say anything, which is not like me because I'm a big mouth. I'll tell a person not only to get off my foot, but that I'm going to stick it up their butt once they do. I am that type of person, and I became the type of person that was like, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to be quiet. And guess what? The universe was like, no, that is not who you are. You can never lose your integrity, because if you don't get it over here, I'm going to make sure you get it over here. Your integrity has got to stay intact. And it reminded me of a movie that I saw in Star Trek about a ship. and the ship was falling apart because it was being bombarded with outside bombs was just coming to the Star Trek ship. And he said, can we hold? And the captain said, no, because it has lost its integrity, meaning that every piece that makes that ship hold and make that ship go forward have fallen apart. Therefore, it could never reach its destination. And that is where I was. But here's the bad part. That is where we are as a whole and as a people. We lack unity and integrity. Now, I know that's not the great message, and I know people don't want to hear it. But if this planet is ascending, either with us or without us, and if we don't want to get left into the mouth of the beast, we need to change our integrity from moment to moment. And since I've done that, I have to tell you, I've lost friends. People have said to me, you really went off the deep end, but we have to do it. We have to do it because we're on a prison planet and we're up for parole.
So when you say we have to do it, so all this time we've been wasted, and everybody knows how I am on how the African American has just been bullshitting. Mm-hmm. So would you say the people who are of that ilk, the people who just, I don't want to do, and I just want to watch the game, when you said you were given thoughts moment to moment to moment, are you saying when we get those thoughts, we should be acting on those?
Yes.
We get them.
Yes. And every moment, listen, we're being judged right now. We're up for parole. That's what I came to tell everyone. We either gonna pass or we're not. This is the last fucking go round. It is. This is it. And either we're going to get out of this prison, because think about it. We're star seeds. My daughter has been getting downloads. We're star seeds. And she's like, we keep saying that we're light beings, but we're not, because a light being has no fucking substance. It's air and gas and things that can rise to the top. And we're held down by trauma. We're held down by all the trauma. And not only that, we're allowing this trauma to overtake us until we keep making dumb decisions, moment to moment decisions. It's that serious, people. It's that serious. And I know that I don't usually talk to you guys like this, but I don't want to see anybody left here for what's coming, and especially what's coming to pass. I wrote some notes, so I'm going to give you what I have on these notes. Let's think about this whole thing with Russia and the Ukraine. Biden blames Russia's war in Ukraine for food supply shortage and price hikes. President Joe Biden blames Russia's invasion on Ukraine for domestic price hikes and global food supply shortages. People are saying, I'm noticing there's less and less food on the counters. Truckers are saying, going to the docks, and there's less and less coming to the docks. There's less and less. Why would we have a food shortage in America with all this land? All these plants, we didn't need them to eat before they got here. Why do we need them to eat now? Think about that. We're in this, not a fucking food desert, but I will tell you what it is. And this is what the universe said to me. America is barren and it bears no fruit. I know I'm kind of talking in riddles. I don't mean to. But look at your trees. Who can walk out in the city and see a pear tree, a cherry tree, got a garden in their backyard? I grew up with that. Half the food I ate came out of our backyard. Well, more than half. And then we went in and had beans and fish on Friday. Well, so what I'm saying to you is, how is it that we got into this position where this government can say to us, there's going to be a food shortage, and then nobody's paying attention to it. Nobody's going out and getting seeds. Nobody is doing anything, because you know what? We trust the government. We have never gone back and trusted our ancestors. You know how many of us say, we got to honor our ancestors. We got to trust our ancestors. Y'all fucking liars. That's the truth. Because if you was honoring the ancestors, if you really trusted them, I wouldn't be the only one having a conversation with them. I ain't fucking special. All of us should be having a conversation, because we all come from the same bloodline. All of us. I done went somewhere I wasn't planning on going, but it's just coming to me this way. I'm off script, and I apologize for that. But hey, you know what? And the universe told me, start your nation state. Start your nation state. This nation state is called a Michigan. I'm the head clan mother. There's people in it. It's called the Mississippian Nation of Aborigine American People. We are going back to our Mississippian culture. It is all over 1 million years old. So when these fucking Native Americans talk about, we came here 17,000 years ago. Even if you did, you ain't fucking first, you dumb fuck. You still ain't first. We time immemorial. That's who we are. But who would fucking know? Because let me stop cursing. Who would know? Because we don't act like time immemorial. We do not. We constantly are looking for a handout. I'm going to go get this grant from the government. I'm going to get this from the government. I'm going to get that from the government. And no, it's not easy to get off the government's titty. Hey, I can tell you, for somebody like me, it's not easy. You know, I don't want to give up my Social Security benefits. All of that, I get it. But at some point, you got to start thinking about bringing your ass out. And that is exactly what we're doing. It's so clear we should get out. See, we think they're going to be here, but guess what? We think there's really a famine. Them motherfuckers is pulling up stakes. They're leaving. When you go into a store and you've been going to that store getting your goods all these hundreds of years, I'm going to go get my coat there. I'm going to go get my food there. I'm going to get everything at the store. All of a sudden, you see ain't shit is fucking. You go in there. Oh, why they don't have this week? Why they don't have that this week? Eventually, it start looking more and more bare till they put up a closed sign. Then where you going to eat? Because that's exactly what's happening. See, I told y'all, that fucking lease is up. That contract we had with the Constitution, their lease agreement is up, and we've been saying it, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're pulling up stakes and getting the fuck out while we're sitting around going, well, let me see. Well, I just opened up my business. Well, it's going to fall. It's gonna fall. There ain't no fucking famine. They creating chaos so we won't see what they're really doing. How do I know this? Because I spent all night awake. I didn't even want to be awake. I was trying to sleep until I just gave in, and the universe said, there's no famine. They pulling out. It scared me. It scared me because I was like, well, fuck, what are we gonna do? Exactly, Mimi. What are y'all gonna do? Anybody? Exactly. And that's the next point, Lisa. They're trying to take the gold. They're trying to take everything that we let them use on our land. They want to take it with them. And I'm getting ready to do another podcast. I'm asking a bunch of clan mothers to do it with me, and we're gonna speak to them motherfuckers, because you don't have our free, prior, and informed consent to take shit out of here. And if we don't say anything, they'll say, well, they knew we was taking it. No, motherfucker, I'm letting you know now, you don't have our free, prior, and informed consent to take nothing out of this store, because you came with nothing, and your ass has to leave with nothing. And we're not standing up and saying anything about this. We're not. Because you know why? They don't want us to know. But you know now, I told you, I told you, I told you. Take it. Listen to it. They're pulling up stakes. It's right before your eyes. Ask any man. If he see a woman taking off her shirt and her bra and her panties and her shoes, he know what's going on. But he don't see that U.S. corporation is moving out. He done took off his shit. He done pulled out his penis. He came. He did everything he wanted to do, and we're still waiting for our own fucking orgasm. Give me my orgasm. Give me my reparations. Give me this and give me that. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself. No offense. I kind of done went off.
No. You're fine, because that's everything that, at least the people I know think about, and that's why it's important for us. Can you imagine? I mean, when you say you get the universe speaks to you and you get these ideas, these dreams or whatever.
It downloads.
Yeah. Can you imagine if the Negro just snapped out of it and did what was necessary?
Yes, I imagined it often because I want it to happen.
And it seems like, I was talking to a friend today, and it seems like a lot of brothers, they try to cause confusion just so that won't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's that simple. Everything we do is magic. And we make it work for everybody else in the world, but can't seem to do a goddamn thing for ourselves as a unit.
One of the major things that have to happen in this nation that we have developed is we have a program that people are going to have to go through that want to come in. It's decolonization program, because our minds are fucked. Seriously.
So what would you call that? That's a good idea. No, seriously.
What would I call a decolonization program?
Yeah.
That's what I call it, a decolonization program. It's classes that they have to take. Like for instance, there's simple things that we don't know. Like we'll say things like we constantly see what they've done is they can't curse us.
Right.
But they put things in front of us so we curse ourselves.
Exactly.
So simple things like, oh man, I'm going to go purchase a car. If you look up what the word purchase means, you'll know why you should never use it. I said that to somebody in our group the other day in our nation. And I said, just look up the word purchase in the etymology. And when he got through, he went, rape? Pillage? Oh, yeah, that's what that is. That's how they got the Louisiana Purchase. That's why they call it that.
Yeah. Simple words.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a clue.
Don't have a clue.
And
we don't have a clue what we're saying about ourselves every day. And especially niggas that still call themselves black. I mean, I don't get how. I have a cousin. I told him, he knows we Indian. I said, but we Indian. You know that. And he went, I'm going to always be black. Here's the thing. He probably will, to his own downfall. I didn't say anything else because you called it on yourself.
Right.
You will always be a blotted out motherfucker.
Right.
Till time immemorial. You called it.
So that's what you say. They don't have to curse us. They just gave us the tools to curse ourselves.
They gave us the tools because they know who we are. They know that anything that comes into our hands, we're going to perfect it. We're going to make it perfect. So we made the curse perfect.
Right.
Rod Hayes said something. I was on the show with him. He does most of the talking. I didn't do a whole lot of talking, which was really, strange for me. But he said, the Bible is a contract. And I knew exactly what he meant. Exactly what he meant by that. Because if somebody tells you, I'm going to curse you, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that to you, I'm going to do a list of shit, and you go, he's prophesying my future. You stepped into the narrative. You waiting for the shit to happen. You waiting for it. Motherfucker, change the narrative. This your world. Hey, the ancestors. I know I think got a little wild since I've been.
No,
You don't know what it's like to have to lay down and have somebody change your diaper for 3 months, wondering if you ever gonna walk again. I'm gonna speak.
Ass is wiggling. So when you're in that position, I just saw a couple of relatives. They're in that position, for real, and they'll probably never regain their speech or walk again. But when you're in that position, when you snap out of it, does it make it more important to do what you're here to do?
So sorry. Okay, I'm gonna hold it in. Okay, Kima, bring me some tissue. All right. I'm sorry, ask me one more time.
When you're in that position, I don't know if you're wondering if you're going to live as this is
Oh yeah.
it. When you finally get back on your feet, is your mission that more is that more in your face? You're more
Yes.
focused, or how does that how do you see that?
When you reach the ancestors, pardon me for a second, y'all. I'm sorry about that. When you talk to the ancestors and they say, no, you can't come here. I have no power. You realize you have no fucking power. Back to prison you go finish your job.
Get your ass to work.
Yeah. Because that's really what it boils down to. Oh, y'all, I'm so sorry. That's really what it boils down to. Yeah, I want to do my job because I don't want to get stuck here. I don't want anybody to get stuck here because the plan that these motherfuckers, do you realize they're pulling stakes and at the same time they got more and more refugees? Listen to this. Joe Biden administration admitted 411 refugees to the U.S. In 2021, falling short of his 62,000 that he wanted to bring in. President Biden did it, airlift more than 75,000 desperate U.S. allied Afghans to the United States after the chaotic fall of Kabul. U.S. Biden, June 11, Biden signs migration pact with Latin America to bring 20,000 refugees over here to work the land. Well, who gonna lead them to work the land? Because they ain't gonna be here. As a matter of fact, they told you that. I will never forget when Biden said, well, I ain't gonna be here. And didn't Trump say it? Well, I'm not gonna be here. Them motherfuckers going back underground or wherever they go, or the sun gonna kill them off, or whatever it is. But they gonna leave a whole lot of chaos for our ass because we sitting around thinking, I need that 5 on. Don't go nowhere, Mr. Master. I need your Bitcoin. Promissory note. You promised me a note. Motherfucker, here's a note and a clue. Get the fuck out.
It just killed me that we don't think we can do nothing for ourselves. We're just on here. We have to have a master. It's like we can't fit nothing.
Mm-mm. In this nation, then you guys are welcome to put in an application. But we done with the U.S. No driver's license, no marriage license, all that. Write a letter here. If we had known that you were making us citizens of the United States, we would never have done this. Because guess what? I didn't apply for citizenship. In 1929, they made it available for Indians to apply for citizenship. How many Indians do you know? Did your grandmama apply for citizenship? Mine didn't. Neither did my mother. And when I looked it up, they said, we have no record of your mother applying for citizenship. Well, then, motherfucker, I ain't a citizen. But I'm letting you treat me like one.
And why would I be? What would be the benefit of me being a citizen? Because your government is fucked up. Mm-hmm. All your institutions are shit.
You know who they let in as citizens? Native Americans. Because quiet as it's kept, they came over here with the Alaska Purchase. They promised Putin, yeah, let them come over here and then take the throne from them Negroes, and we'll let you have some land. Everybody's bartering for our land, and who's going to enslave the Negroes? Stop being Negroes.
I want to be black. Yeah, it's like that. So the pimp the pimp is pulling out.
Yeah.
What should the hoes do next?
I hope not find another pimp, because there's a bunch of them waiting. They waiting to pimp us. They sure are. Those Chinese over here waiting to pimp us. Mexicans are waiting over here to pimp us. They all over here waiting because they've been promised our pussy, our assholes, our children, all that. They've been promised. When we leave, have at them motherfuckers. They stupid anyway.
That's about right.
Yeah. Have at them.
So what should you see? What you see now? If you had the microphone to get into everybody's ear, what would you say?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what we're doing. We're writing documents, affidavits, going to the government. We're not citizens. You're on our land, and we're going to take our shit. That's what we're doing. At some point, we need to just go be on our fucking land, because it's ours. There's so many fucking documents that says it's ours. And not only that, there's treaties where they said your enemy is my enemy. Somebody comes against you, I will fight for you. But they're not the ones who bringing all these motherfuckers against us. We should be making them keep that fucking treaty. You said you would fight for us. Go get them motherfucking Mexicans. Let me tell you something about these goddamn Mexicans. They have literally claimed that they are want to wipe us off the planet. They're saying it out loud. They're writing it in documents. And I can't think of what you call it, but they wrote and said, why isn't anybody saying anything about this? Why are the Democrats constantly bringing in people who are saying they want to kill these African Americans and these black people? They don't want them here on their own fucking land. So you know they're killing us off, or trying to, but you are not doing your job. You got to go look at them treaties. Anybody looking at these treaties? Because I've been looking at them. I've been forced to look at them. And they promised to do a whole lot of shit. We have never stood up and said, you're going to keep that motherfucking promise. No, we don't do it. We don't. And we need to. But that's what our nation state is doing. And I know several other nation states that are doing it. We are making you motherfuckers keep your promise before you go, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The pimp is pulling out.
Pulling out. And we don't have a clue. I'm warning you. I'm telling you what's going on.
So what should we be doing right this second?
I think you need to go to the universe and ask the universe what you should do. We should be going back to our land. We should be growing our own food. We should stop depending on other people to feed us. I tell you that. Whatever it takes for you to do that. If you got neighbors, go and tell your neighbors, man, you know what? We need to start growing food so we can feed each other. Because if there is going to be a famine, people are going to, if here's what I'm looking at. If you can't find your way to a farm, then you better find your way to your backyard. And you better start planting food in it the way our forefathers did. That's what you need to do. And you need to make sure your next door neighbor is not hungry, because that's the one that'll shoot you in the fucking head for your leftover water and food. So you need to get to talking with your people. That's what you need to do. You need to tell them, there's a famine coming. You growing food, I'm growing food. They need to grow food, and we need to feed each other, because that's what we did in the past. They're killing off cows. I ain't scared of that. We don't need, our people don't need to eat meat. There you go. Arm yourselves. Here's why I love our nation state. Because when we talk to when we do our government to government meetings, first thing we say is, did you take the oath to the Constitution? Well, yeah. Well, then we have the right to bear arms. Well, nope, we don't go by your policies. Those are for United States citizens. We're not citizens. We're Aborigine. This is our land. That law was built for you and your people, and you made a bunch of policies for them. And I'm not gonna fight for. They want to hold on to those policies, but no, your policies, and they just saw a document the other day where they said they apologized for all their ill-gotten policies that they put up on the Indian. You admitting it in front of us? They admitting it, and yet we're going, that's okay, master.
So is that part of that curse where we curse ourselves? Well, they don't have to tell me what they've done. I know already. But is that part of the curse? Well, we don't even call them on their bullshit.
No. That's bad when your master says, I'm sorry that I poked you in the ass with a spiked penis. You get your little bloody towel and go, that's okay, master. What's next? That's how people see us. That really is. And if you could just get that picture in your head, if you was somebody on the outside looking at you, wiping your butt to your master who just took a spiked penis out your ass, and you go, oh, okay, master, what's next? I just want you to give me that currency and that fiat. Think about how you look to other people.
That's basically what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. KBB, let me tell you, not only do we need to get armed, we need to go practice what to do, because they are sending all of these motherfuckers over here to have to war against us. It's called urban warfare. And I had a professor. I used to hang on a bunch of professors when I was I'm a sociologist, so I kind of hang with a bunch of professors sometimes. And I remember one telling me, she said, "Oh, you think they went over to Iraq because there was some kind of this and that and stuff?" She said, "That's all fucking lies." And I was all, no, because, the news said, and, I believe the government like an idiot. And she said, baby, they over there doing training for urban warfare to come over here at some point. And she never lied.
I was talking to some cats, got a lot of homeless cats around. And, a lot of them are homeless veterans. And when you talk to them, when you really sit down and talk to them, they say the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. And they practice for urban warfare.
And why they look so dejected? Because I was always like, why these brothers look so really defeated? It's like it's like they trying to look defeated. And when you talk to them, they realize what they've done, what they've helped create. And they say they're over there, over in the Middle East, and they get back here, and the Middle Easterners are running the business, just like during the Korean War, the Vietnam War, all these wars we into, and we make where these other people can make a living off of us. That's how it's been done, and we're not kicking that habit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As a chief of the Iroquois Confederacy, who really tries to embarrass me and down me because I have an education, and I quickly say, as a sociologist, I know for a fact, even my clients that I counsel, you don't denigrate yourself. There's so many other people doing that. You don't denigrate yourself. And, he wants me to be ashamed because I got an education, but this mother fought in the war. And I told him, I said, well, are you ashamed that you actually went into the military voluntarily and fought? No, because I was over there killing Asian Tiska. Yeah, okay, whatever.
You see, and this is a lot of brothers, that really think they're part of this. And so,
I hear you, Lisa.
What would you say about the brothers? Do you say all this that they're showing with these your Chicago and all this violence around that we're supposedly perpetrating each other, do you really think that's happening, or is that propaganda?
I think some of it is happening, but I think a lot of it is propaganda so that we won't know what's really going on. I really do. I think that the biggest thing they have over us is fear because we're afraid to approach them. They want us to be afraid to approach them so they can get away with a bunch of shit.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of clan mothers right now that's saying, fuck them. We either gonna die if we don't approach them. So we might as well just let them know you do not have our free, prior, and informed consent to do the fucking shit that you do. And we're the clan mothers and we're the ones who have the right to tell you no.
Right.
You can't do it. See, because here's what we got to understand about that beast. You know what he's afraid of? Heaven. That's why they can't curse us. Because if they curse us, their penalty is really, really rough. And once you tell them they can't do something, they can't do it. Because this is our land. Let me tell you how this works. Since the universe has caused me to rise in elevation, and my children noticed it, and they're like, damn. I went to the doctor's office, and I always go in as an Aborigine now. Now, fuck that shit about Indian, none of that. I'm Aborigine American. These are my documents. I don't need a mask. I don't do this. I don't do that. Blah, blah, blah. But there was some nigga bitches behind the fucking desk, and they didn't like my power. Ma'am, you gonna put on that mask? I said, well, basically, to be honest, I actually went and asked them because I didn't have a mask. I don't try to buck the system just for fun. So I went in there and I told them, I said, I don't have a mask. Do you have one? Because there was a bunch of white people in there coughing. So they gave me some kind of mask that didn't fit. I didn't like the way it was happening. So it didn't fit over my glasses. So this one, and I'm gonna say the term black girl, because that's what she is, came over to me and said, she came over to me and said, ma'am, you're going to have to fix your mask. I said, it doesn't fix. And she leaned in to touch my face, and I went, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to help you fix your mask. I said, first of all, you didn't ask me, could you touch me? And second of all, I just told you it's not going to work. So no. And I probably could have said it nicer, but I'm just not nice anymore. So she was like, she went back and started talking to the other ones. You know how they do. You know how nigga women do. They get the cussing. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. You're going to have to bleep that out.
No.
You know how they do, right?
Oh, you overseer. A Negro overseer is the best overseer. They going to make sure you do what boss say.
Yes. The next thing I know, it's about 5 or 6 of them. They didn't all conspired against me. It turned into, I had already called my son. I said, this mask don't work. Go get me a mask. Because I wasn't trying to buck the system. I just wasn't going to let her put her hands on my face. I don't know where your hands been. I don't care if you are a nurse. This is my face. And I'm Aborigine. And I call the fucking shots on this planet. And they watch me do it. And so they said, well, we're not going to let her in till she get her a mask. And I heard them say that. I said, did you not hear me say that I told my son to go get me a mask? Well, I went on in anyway. So they couldn't handle me. Guess what they did? They called the white woman. She came in there, dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, da. Ma'am, you don't have on a mask. You're going to have to leave. I said, if you're looking right at me, I have the mask in my hand. I was going to put it on. She said, well, you have to leave anyway. And I said, well, I'm not leaving. I'm going to talk to my doctor because, I want to make sure I don't have any more blood clots, blah, 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 blah. This is my life, so and so and so and so. And next thing I heard was, call the police. And I just stood there. I said, this nigga really did say, call the police. They the real Karens around here, if you think about it. They really are. They're the fucking real Karens. They can't wait to call the police on another one of us. So the cop came in, had his attack dogs and all that, blah, blah, blah. And they was excited. And he got ready to grab my arm. And I looked at him. I said, I'm Aboriginal. You don't have any right to touch me. Don't put your hands on me. And he did like this, took his dog and stopped. And they were amazed. That's the power you have when you up there with that universe. I have done that several times. Several times. Don't touch me. Don't have any right. You're the dead. I'm the living. Stay in your place. I talk to them exactly like who they are. Yes, indeed. And that's where you got to get. Because the higher you get, the more you know who you are and the more you can see who they are and they can see you. That's why they pulling out. Because they're scared you're going to elevate. Because when I remember when I gave that what did you call it? Wasn't a ritual. Mantra? Do you remember that?
No. I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of stuff, huh?
You don't watch me repeatedly. But anyway, on there it says, I am time immemorial. And not only that, it says, I am flora and fauna. There was a white man who wrote about us in the 1800s to come and see who these people are. And he was said, these people walk through the wood. They are the flora and fauna. That's exactly who they are. And you don't know that. You were seeded in the ground just like any other plant. So that's when they tell you eat plant-based food, don't eat it. You're the fucking plant. Seriously, I'm not joking.
I hear you.
Don't eat plant-based food because it's not a lie. You're plant-based. You're plant-based. Wake up to what's really going on. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place.
Oxygen is all over the place too. You don't complain about that.
But they'll know who you are when you know who you are. You are literally, here's the thing. I'm going to explain. You know, when I start explaining the universe to you, I start doing this, right? So I'm going to explain this to you and then I know my hour is up. But listen, when I tell you you're flora and fauna, you got to really see it. Like the trees, the flowers, the air, all of that is it conducive. Well, air is not considered flora and fauna, but anything that comes from the ground. But I consider air flora and fauna because it's naturally occurring. It doesn't need any help to get here. It just is like us. It just is. We're just here because we're supposed to be here because we were planted into the soil. But we operate the same as every other plant. There you have a spring season where tulips come up and all your spring plants come up. Then you have another season where other plants come up and another part of the season where other plants come up. Listen, they know that the ones who know who they are right now, we're in the spring. It's just a few of us. But when that summer comes and the rest of these Negroes walk up and go, what the fuck are you saying? I'm an Indian? Yeah, we've been telling you that for like how many years now? They're waiting for that and they're afraid of it. They're afraid of it.
Yeah. Yes. Jim Red Wolf says something that I think is important to what you're saying right now. It's all about vibing high. And I just want to give a quick example of how you can get really close to that. If you ever had a bird pass by your ear or a bee or something, they're vibrating at a high rate. If you always put yourself in that arena, it'll start to have you vibing high too. So you have things around you, animals, insects, all kind of stuff around you that'll connect you back to where you're trying to go. And that's the earth.
Yes.
I just want to say that.
No, you're right. And you know what? They've been waiting for us.
Yeah.
The trees and the flowers and stuff, they've been waiting for us. They know it's our time. Yeah. They know. They're waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Lisa. trust in our own selves, because there's a, even though they're planning an amazing, what you might say, devastation for us, the universe has planned a major uh, lift for us. I mean, it says it right there. One day you're gonna be able to speak to a mountain, it's gonna move. We got to start expecting that. That's where we going, to the point where we start moment to moment going to that place. From moment to moment, we should be heading in that direction. From moment to moment, we should be saying, I know this is coming. Let me be prepared. Let me stop being a liar. Nigga, you are not covered in the blood of Jesus. You cannot continue to lie and cheat and steal and treat your people like shit and think the dead man's blood is going to cover you. Bullshit. Nope. Not gonna happen. And you still acting like that. Half of you niggas ain't walked away from the cross. You think you have, but you haven't. You haven't.
Somebody turn to your neighbor.
Huh?
Somebody turn to your neighbor. You know what? Them shines. I don't even see how they can even show their face in public anymore.
Yeah, I'm done fussing, y'all.
So listen, vibrating at a high, at your highest. And many of you guys know how to do that because you do it all the time. It might not be in the key that you're supposed to be in, but you vibrate high, you vibrate low. What this sister's telling you, vibrate high. You can see everything. Matter of fact, you know it, but you're scared. No need. Do the right thing. Come with, to help and assist others. It'll work out for you. Those who not for you, don't be for them. Give that energy back to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody looks out for you ever. Look out for yourself. Look out for the brothers on the street, sisters on the street. Look out for these kids in these schools. You see what they trying to teach your kids in these schools. We going for that?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You allow a drag queen to come teach your children? But you want to talk like you supposed to live. Brother, we ain't celebrating death around here, dude. We celebrating life, vibrating that light. So, Deborah, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight, and thanks for giving us those words. Give us another context which we can look at things.
Thank you for letting me come on. I really appreciate it. But
you're welcome anytime.
Thank you. I love you all.
So, listen, guys. Hope you enjoyed Deborah tonight.
Mimi.
You're gonna have to give me a while.
I know. My son got fed up. He said, "You changed your name too much. You're just mommy from now on."
Yeah. See, he understands. Listen, I really, really appreciate you tonight, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Talk soon.
To the chat, thank you guys for hanging in there with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words. You guys up on it. Y'all mamas didn't raise no dummies. Tell you that. So we'll see you later on in the week, and everybody have a good night. Peace.